Welcome back. A massive row broke out yesterday as Mahua Moitra, TMC MP, stormed out of the ethics panel meeting on her cash for query storm. She levelled serious charges against the panel chairman for quote filthy and personal questions being asked. She was backed by opposition MPs part of the panel. Now the panel chairman and BJP MPs have refuted her charges, but the controversy refuses to die down. Along with the question over Mahua's role in sharing her Lok Sabha portal login and password, the question now also is what happens to the proceedings of this panel and what action, if any, could be taken against Mahua Moitra for walking out and for her behaviour. But the fundamental question is what really happened. We've heard various versions. I'm joined specially by Aparajita Sarangi, who was a member of the Lok Sabha ethics panel now. Aparajita Sarangi, member of the Lok Sabha Ethics Committee, who is part of this meeting that has turned out to be an unprecedented storm, is joining us. Aparajita Sarangi, thanks a lot for your time. You're speaking for the first time since this ruckus took place. So I begin by asking you, Mahua Moitra has made some very serious allegations that there was almost a cheer haran, a vastra haran of a female MP. She was being asked filthy, personal questions that had nothing to do with the probe or the investigation. Can you first begin by telling us as a member, what do you make of the allegations and how would you respond to that?
I'm a member of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Privileges and Ethics. And as a member of the committee, I should not be divulging the details of the deliberations because, you know, they are strictly confidential. However, as far as Mahua Moitra's behavior was concerned, I'm constrained to say certain things which I think should be said because since yesterday till today, she has been trying to mislead the people of the country. She has been trying to build a fake narrative and she is playing a victim card. And this is very unfortunate. You know, we must ensure that the people are not kept in dark. See what happened yesterday. This was the second meeting of the Parliamentary Standing Committee. And it is being chaired by Honorable MP Shri Vinod Kumar Sonkar, a very senior member of Parliament in the Lok Sabha. And on the earlier date, we had invited two persons, Honorable MP Nishikant Dubeji and Shri Jai Ananta Dehatrai. We heard both of them. There were many questions that were put forth before them. And whichever question they were not comfortable in, they would actually say that they would not like to answer those questions, and we never insisted. Now, here is a lady who comes in and who is given more than 1 hour to talk. And we gave her sufficient opportunity of being heard. All of us were very patient with her. She kept on talking about her personal life. I don't think any one of us was interested so much in her personal life. But on her own, she kept on talking about that. Well and good. Thereafter, the chairman of the committee asked certain questions. Now, here I would like to say, with all conviction at my command and with all candidness, that Honorable Chairman of the committee put forth the questions that were within the limits of the affidavit filed by Darshan Hiranandani. Nothing, no question was being asked which was beyond the content of the affidavit. Now, while he was asking those questions, she suddenly started shouting and she solicited the support of other MPs of the opposition, especially Girdhari Yadav and Danish Ali, honorable MPs. And she started shouting, hurling abuses at the chairman and other members of the committee. And she even called the questions of the chairman toxic by nature. So she questioned the quality of the questions being posed by the chairman of the committee. And she lost her cool. As I said, I reiterate, she started hurling abuses. All kinds of words that were unparliamentary by nature were used by her. And I think everything has been well recorded, verbatim. The recording was on. So later on, with the Parliamentary Standing Committee officials, you can cross-check, Shivani. Now, the worst part was, she kept on saying, Draupadi ka cheer haran ho raha hai. Our chairman came out very clearly and said, if you don't want to answer any question, you can always go beyond that. You can always say no to that question. And you can always later on, if you want, you can answer those questions in writing in the next 24 hours. In fact, he gave some kind of time limit in the next 24 hours. She said, I want to answer all the questions now, but these are toxic by nature. I don't want to answer. So she did not answer the questions.
Okay.
Then she suddenly got up. She started hurling abuses, as I said earlier. And while she was walking out of the room, she suddenly used such words that, I feel uncomfortable telling you. She called the chairman Behuda and Besharam. Now, can you expect a member of parliament to cross the limits of decency? As members of parliament, we are supposed to set examples before others to follow. And here is a member of parliament who does not know what are the standards of conduct. Okay. I think she went beyond all limits, and she did not know probably what she was saying. And she used these two unparliamentary words, and these have been duly recorded by the officials of the Parliamentary Standing Committee, which can be cross-checked by you. But my only worry is that since yesterday till today, she has been trying to kind of play a victim card, and she's trying to build a fake narrative, and she's trying to mislead the people of this country, which is not right. She should know how to behave. She's a parliamentarian, and we feel really sorry for her.
Well, interestingly, you mentioned there are recordings, so I think those are going to become extremely important. But she has written to the Lok Sabha Speaker about the treatment that was meted out to her yesterday. So I want to understand from you, what happens to this panel proceedings? Are you going to pursue this matter, and is she going to be called again?
See, it's for the chairman to decide, but I would definitely like to mention here that we were aghast. We were shocked by her behavior. And I must mention here that honorable members Girdhari Lalji and Danish Ali, all the while we are trying to support her in her statements. And you know what? They stood up and they started banging the desk before the chairman, which was absolutely unethical, if I can use that word. Parliamentarians are not supposed to behave in such a manner. And they all walked out. This lady saying those two words, and they all walked out. Now, as far as the chairman is concerned, he did call us for a small meeting with him. We sat there completely aghast, completely shocked for 1 hour. And we have decided to hold a meeting very shortly. I think the chairman will fix up a date.
Okay. But you will have a meeting, but are you going to call Mahua Moitra again to depose before this committee or this panel?
There would be any kind of call given to her once again. No.
No. Okay. Mahua Moitra has also come out to say that, she's referred to you personally. She has gone on to say that there are 2 female BJP MPs, including you, who did not speak up for her when all of this was going on, ill treatment towards a female MP. Would you like to say something on that? Because she's directly spoken about your presence as well.
It's a question of certain ethical standards. When we are in a meeting, when we are in a parliamentary standing committee meeting, we are supposed to behave in a certain manner. There are certain standards of conduct to which we need to conform. And unfortunately, she forgot the limits of decency. She could have easily said no to any of the questions in which she felt uncomfortable. There was no need for her to shout. So if she wanted support from both the women MPs in that kind of behavior, I don't think we would have supported her. No, not at all. We would definitely not support this kind of behavior, come what may.
Okay, okay. I do want to ask you, you insist that there were no uncomfortable or needlessly private questions asked of Mahua Moitra, which is what her primary charge is.
I say with all conviction at my command and with all responsibility that whatever questions that were asked by the chairman of the committee were confined to the content of the affidavit filed by Darshan Hiranandani. I cannot divulge the details because I'm not supposed to. I am a disciplined member of parliament and I know my rules. my role as a member of the committee, but I can only say that nothing was asked beyond the other.
Okay. I do thank Aparajita Sarangi. Thanks a lot for speaking to us and clarifying your position as to what transpired in that meeting. Let's also open this up to our other guests joining us. Charu Pragya of the BJP, Riju Datta of the TMC, and also Kapil Madan, advocate and political analyst, is joining us. Riju Datta, why don't you respond first? You must have heard what Aparajita Sarangi said. She's saying very clearly all questions were justified. They were born out of Hiranandani's affidavit, and if she wanted to not answer certain questions, she could have done so. But this was not right to call the chairman Behuda, Besharam and walk out of the meeting.
Okay, now let me go one by one and give me the courtesy of time, please. I heard what Ms. Sarangi said, and the problem with the BJP is when they, script a lie, they don't discuss among each other, because one of the other members from BJP in this ethics committee was Dr. Rajdeep Roy from Assam, who on your channel said Mahua Moitra was given 2.5 hours to speak, where
Yes.
Aparajita Sarangi said Mahua Moitra was given 1 hour to speak. So that is first lie that got exposed on national TV. Now coming to the second thing. Miss Aparajita Sarangi said that we were aghast and shocked by the language used by Mahua Moitra. The whole country was also aghast and shocked when your MP, Mr. Ramesh Biduri, used such language on the parliamentary floor.
No, but that's not
You say
relevant
that
here.
we cannot
Riju
tolerate
Datta,
this kind
stick
of
to
behavior.
this issue.
That's
not an excuse for this. Will you let me speak my part, or should I speak along your But
lines?
I asked you a specific question. What happened in some other instance is not a defense for what happened yesterday.
Let me answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Don't interrupt, please. Let me answer. Let me finish my point and you can interject. Secondly, she said that this is not the way a parliamentarian should behave. Then how a parliamentarian should behave? What is the specific guidelines? They should behave like Brij Bhushan Saran Singh. Maybe it's their yardstick, it's not ours. Now coming to the specific point here. Darshan Hiranandani's allegations were made. Darshan Hiranandani made some allegations. Nishikant Dubey went to the ethics committee. Jay Anand Dehadrai went to the ethics committee. Why was Darshan Hiranandani not called? The guy based on whose allegations this entire fiasco is going on. The parliamentarian Mahua Moitra attended the ethics committee. It should be called anything but the ethics committee. It's the ethics lex committee without a model code of conduct or a moral code of conduct. Why I am saying this is I am telling you the questions that was asked. Mahua Moitra said it on herself on national TV, and I am saying this. Just imagine TMC asking these same questions to Miss Smriti Irani, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman.
What is the question? Go ahead.
The questions are, I'll tell you 4 questions. आप रात को कहां थे, किसके साथ थे, आप किससे फोन पे बात करते थे, और आप जिसको डियर फ्रेंड कहते हो उनकी बीवी को पता है कि वो आपके कितने डियर फ्रेंड हैं? Are these questions to be asked to a woman by the chairman of the ethics committee? It is a blatant cheerharan of an MP by none other than the chairperson of the ethics committee playing the role of a Dushachan.
Okay.
And I am saying this, if this is the price for a woman MP to pay in India, because she is raising her voice and asking questions about Mr. Adani and the illicit relationship Mr. Adani has with Mr. Narendra Modi, then God save this country. They want to choke the voice of dissent, and this is the lowest of the low.
So, we've heard from both sides. A lot of people have made certain allegations. Mahua Moitra herself, the chairman himself has come out. Other panel members have come out from both the divide, BJP and the other opposition MPs. Their versions are what they are, and obviously we cannot go by any one person's version. Interestingly, Aparajita Sarangi has said that there is a recording of the proceedings verbatim. So clearly, something should be done of that recording, because the record should be set right. But the difficulty here is that these are all panel meetings which are not disclosed in public. So I am not sure what happens in this. But Charu Pragya, please respond to what Riju Datta is saying. The BJP and the BJP panel members maintain that there is nothing wrong with what was asked. It was all legitimate and legit given the inquiry that was taking place. But you just heard Riju Datta outlining some of the questions that Mahua Moitra allegedly faced. And on the face of it, they seem improper.
Good evening, Shivani, and I request you to please give me as much time as you have given Mr. Datta. Let's at the foresight makes some things very clear. First of all, Mahua Moitra has admitted to sharing her login ID and password. She has also admitted to accepting gifts from Mr. Hiranandani. She said this to several reporters, and that interview is viral everywhere. It's in the public domain. So she cannot today pretend that no outsider had access to her parliamentary
That's not
account.
what she is denying. That's not what we are debating either. We are debating
I'm
what happened in the meeting.
Forward from that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm moving forward from that. So that at the outset, I just wanted to make clear, because those are the preliminary charges. Now, what has happened after this is that the person who had access to her account has used it for his own personal gain. Now, Miss Moitra is infamous for using terrible language any point of time, whether it is in parliament, whether it is in front of journalists, now even in front of the ethics committee. She keeps saying that stories have been cooked up. Well, she had written a 2-page letter previously denying, talking about a jilted ex and everything, but she did not once deny any of the charges which have been leveled against her.
Charu, we are not discussing
Even
that.
this time.
We are not discussing the primary charges against her. We have discussed it. The issue we are discussing today, right now, is what transpired in this meeting. Now, the TMC and MP plus the other opposition MPs have also levelled a very serious charge that there was improper behaviour and questions asked of Mahua Moitra.
No, and yeah, I was coming to that, Shivani. Now, what is an improper question that's being asked? Now, Miss Moitra is the one who talks about the jilted ex. BJP did not talk about it. She's the one who blames everything on him. So, obviously, questions are going to be asked about him. Secondly, she's the one who's accepting gifts from a so-called friend, and she's been speaking to him by her own admission. Obviously, questions are going to be asked about it. Now, if these questions are asked, these hard facts are put on table in front of her, she thinks it's improper. She thinks it's okay to storm out of a meeting which is going to decide her political future. She feels that behaving in the manner that she has been behaving, using words like behuda and besharam for a parliamentary committee which is there in place to make sure that all the charges which have been levied against her hold or not, because these charges are similar to the ones which were levied in 2005 and 11.
Okay. Riju, I'll try and give you some time, but I have limited time. Let me go to Kapil Madan also. Kapil, the problems for Mahua Moitra are compounding, because while she has accepted in public domain that yes, she gave the login and password, the OTP comes to her mobile and she's only dictated the questions she wanted put. It was only secretarial help she took from Hiranandani. The problem is that once that person did get the OTP, as Nishikant Dubey has rightfully asked the question, once you have received and given that OTP to somebody, a third party, that third party has then freedom to do whatever else they want on the portal. They don't get restricted just to posting the question. They could have access to bills yet to be submitted. They could have access to confidential information and documents of other standing committees. Now that's where the seriousness of the charge comes on the login and password.
Yes, I agree with you, but let me make 3 quick points here. The fact that, a BJP MP, Ms. Sarangi, who happens to be a member of the ethics committee, she needs to maintain the judicial impropriety of the propriety of the highest order, because the fact that he happens to be the member of the ethics committee.
Well, other members have gone on record too. Mahua Moitra is not supposed to talk about it either.
Just a minute. Just a minute. The fact that you are judging, an allegation against someone, you need to act in a bipartisan manner. You should not be speaking and coming on the TV. The fact that you have, decided that you will come and you will speak on the TV shows that, you are not acting in a bipartisan manner.
She is not spoken on the original charges against Mahua Moitra. She has only spoken about what transpired in the meeting. But please move on. Answer the question I'm asked you.
Now let me come to my second point here. What did Miss Sarangi said? She said, no such kind of questions were asked and whatever allegations she's making are false. Now Charu on this channel she is admitting. She's saying yes, there would be questions because she has admitted that, she was in a relationship. Charu now here admits that yes, she had, Hiranandani was his friend. And
No.
Now you have two people from BJP. Now you have two people.
No, 1 second. Let me just come in. 1 second. I do not have time for this. Just Kapil and I, please. Kapil, don't misquote what Mr. Sarangi said. 1 second. Don't misquote what she said. She said any question. 1 second, please. 1 second. She said any question that was asked of Mahua Moitra was born out of the affidavit by Mr. Hiranandani. She did not specify which question was asked.
No, she made an allegation that it was Mahua Moitra who misbehaved and used words like
Yeah, that's separate. But what questions were asked? She has not divulged that.
And the point remains, irony has died 1,000 deaths. Now Charu on this channel will defend what Ramesh Biduri said, for which the ethics committee is yet to proceed, because Mr. Biduri has not appeared. And
anyways,
they have no time to discuss that, but they have time to discuss.
Yeah, but that doesn't help Mahua Moitra. I'm sorry to say, if there has to be a defense for Mahua Moitra, that is not one.
And Shivani, I know Charu will use all her skills with best of her ability. She's a great speaker. She will defend what Mr. Biduri said. She will also defend the fact that ethics committee could not get time to have hearing on what Mr. Biduri did.
Okay, the fact that you are talking about Mr. Biduri tells me you don't want to address the question at hand or the issue at hand. I'm sorry, I gave you time. Kapil, you come on the show to answer the questions that are posed to you, not everything else in the world that you want to talk about. I'm sorry to say. Otherwise, you are guilty of destroying your own time. Then please don't complain about not getting time. I'm sorry to say. I've run out of time. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. We will take this forward, of course, as we continue on Plain Speak. Time for me to take your leave. On the other side, the hard facts follow.